All right, guys, I got a new project. I mentioned this a few times in my previous videos, but so this is the official kickstart, no pun intended, there of the 1983 PE175 2.0. So you've seen my 1984 PE175 around. I've done a few videos about it, but it's pretty much stock, except for the hand guards. And right now it has the silencer, FMF. I had a video about that, but that actually is, I just put it on there to test it out, but that silencer is going to go on the PE175 2.0, and the stock one will go back on this. But it, like I said, it's completely stock. It's pretty nice, actually. Turned out pretty well. I don't have much into it. But what I wanted to say is I bought these a 2-for-1 special a few years ago. So this was in parts, and this was actually somewhat complete. And my intentions were always to do what I'm doing right now. That was to make the 84 stock, and then this one completely modified. And let me explain to you, as you can see, I've already got started on it pretty far, but let me explain to you the main things that we're going to be working on with this, how we're going to improve it. So there's 4 major areas we're going to do improvements on this. Number 1 is power. Always need more power. Listen, that 84, it's not impressive in the power department. It's okay, right? It gets out of its own way, but it's not impressive. And really, we're not going to do much other than we're going to port the cylinder. And I already started on that, and there'll be a full video coming up about featuring just on the porting on that. But I'm using Ken O'Connor Racing. He has porting templates that you can put in. He doesn't have a lot of dirt bike stuff, actually. It's mostly quads and snowmobiles, but he happens to have PE175 porting templates. So, you know, 2 strokes are kind of finicky. They're not like 4 strokes. I could kind of probably port a 4-stroke head without getting too crazy and make big improvements. 2 strokes, you're really messing with timing, intake, and exhaust. Basically, you're porting and you're making the camshaft at the same time, right? So we're not getting too radical, but hopefully that makes a big improvement. And porting on 2-stroke is pretty huge. It can make a big difference, especially if it's pretty mild from the factory. And hopefully I don't lose a whole lot of bottom end. Not that there is a lot of bottom end on these anyways, but I don't want it to be peaky like 1980 R125 I got, but I just want more power. And this porting is supposed to be for off-road. It's not a motocross porting job. It's supposed to be for off-road, which is what we want here. So that's number 1. And then the other thing about power is, you know, the silencer, it's not as restrictive. The expansion chamber is the same. Although I bought it, and from what I understand, there's like a mesh or something inside the expansion chamber on these PEs for noise, because it is kind of quiet. And what people used to do back in the day is cut it and then rip out the mesh that's on the inside. It's like a steel mesh. It's spot welded. You can see on the outside where the spot welds would be. And then they weld it back together, and that's supposed to help. But here's the thing. When I bought this, it only came with one. I bought the set of bikes, but it only came with 1 exhaust, and that's what I used on the 84. Now, I found another expansion chamber on eBay, and I purchased it a while back. And let me show you something. All right, here's the expansion chamber I bought on eBay. Now, if you notice, I didn't know this when I bought it. I don't know if you can see this. Give me some light. There. I don't know if that's enough, but there is a weld right here all the way around. A really nice weld. I didn't notice that on the eBay listing. Someone did a good job. Now, the stock exhaust doesn't normally have that. And there can only be one reason why they'd be welded all the way around like that, and that is someone already did that. They already removed the mesh. So, short of, I mean, everything else is super good condition on this thing. Short of actually dropping a scope down there and seeing if I can see something, which I'm not going to do, I'm going to kind of assume that this has that mesh stuff removed. I don't know for sure, but that's what we're going to go with. The other aspect of the Big Four is weight. Now, the stock dry weight, according to the Suzuki literature of the day, is 229 pounds. I weighed the 84 after I finished it. It was no fuel, but it did have the, I don't know, 2/3 or 3/4 or a quart of transmission fluid in it. And if I remember right, it was almost like that 229 number that they give from the OEM is pretty spot on, because I think it was 230 or 231 pounds when I weighed it, which if it was 230 pounds, the extra almost pound would be just from the transmission fluid. So, that's the starting weight. I'll double check when we do the compare. Ultimately, we're going to do a video, a shootout of the 84 versus the 83. I might have said 82 earlier. I don't remember, but it's an 83. Just stock versus modified. We'll do a shootout here with my brother, and we'll see what the difference is. Right? See how much better this thing is. But we'll just go with the 229 pounds for now that the stocker weighs. All right, next on the list is the suspension. We'll go from 10.6 inches of travel to 12.2 inches of travel. For the front forks, the spindly little scrawny 38 millimeter forks with 10.6 inches of travel are going to be tossed. Not literally, but moved on. And I'm going to go with a more modern front fork. That'll give me, you know, close to 12 inches of travel, which is typical. And then it will have the other big thing, suspension, weight, power, and then the front brake will be a hydraulic disc. I don't really care that the rear brake is a drum. I think the back brake actually works pretty good on the PE and on my 80 RM25. It's the front brake that does most of the work anyways in certain situations, and that leaves a little bit desired, the drums, because they're just cable operated too. So we'll have dual piston front disc brake hydraulic on this. So those are the key improvements we're making, and we'll see how it turns out, I guess. And then I'm going to go over these individual things on a separate video for each of them, break it down a little bit more. The good thing is I'm kind of pretty far into this. The bottom end here, completely rebuilt. I rebuilt the crank, all new bearings, all new seals. Transmission was gone through. Everything looked good. So we're ready to put the top end on it when I get done with that. I think it'll be fun, man. And I did, for some reason, the swing arm and the front engine mount and the rear engine mount, those are actually gold anodized. It's not paint. There's an anodized shop in town here that I use for work, and I had them do that for this, just to give it a little different look. I think it looks good with the black frame. So anyways, it'll make it unique, because it will be unique. Also, one other thing, ergonomics. This, you know, there's a reason why they have safety seats now. It's not terrible, I admit. It doesn't, doesn't crush the sensitive area like I thought it might, because I've never ridden a bike before the 125 that didn't have a safety seat. But I'm going to try to adapt a safety seat to this. I got an idea how I'm going to do that. And it'll raise it a little bit more in the center, so it won't have quite the dip, which is good. I don't really like that. I'll probably put wider foot pegs on that one as well. And I think that sums it up. This is going on long enough. We'll see you guys later.